raise for you. And that is the statement of those who say, God created this world and left it to run by itself. He's not involved. It's too insignificant. He just created it and left it to run by itself. They accept there's got to be a God. So they are what they call deists. They believe in the existence of God, but they don't believe that God conveyed his word to humankind. No, they say that's fairy tales. There's so many religions around the world, everyone claims that he's right. They're all wrong. They're all made up by human beings. Of course, the possibility that one is right and the rest are all wrong, he doesn't reflect on that one. He just sees all of them claiming to be right, and they have different teachings. Therefore, he can only conclude they all must be wrong. So, if one accepts that, then of course, he also doesn't know who his Lord is. He said he believes in God, but he doesn't know who God is. Because common sense tells us, practical common sense tells us, that if a man set up a factory and he put an advertisement in the paper for people to come and work in his factory, and he hired all of these people, and then on the day when the factory was supposed to begin operations, they all came down to the factory, and he didn't tell them what they were there for, what was their individual jobs. And they walked into the factory. What do you think they're going to do? Is each one going to go and find his place in the factory and slot in and just be working and the factory is just humming and working well? Or is he going to go to the canteen where there is tea being served, sit down with his friends and chat until somebody comes along and tells him what he's supposed to be doing here? If nobody told him, what do you think would happen to that company? It would be a resounding success or a stupendous failure. It would have been a failure, of course. And what would we say about a businessman who did that? We'd say he is an idiot. He is a fool. He is dumb, stupid, unwise. We have a whole string of terms for him. All of them indicating foolish. Now, if we can accept that with regards to a company, what about the world? And what about the God who created this world? For us to say he didn't tell us what we're supposed to do here is to make him like the owner of that company. He is the most wise, as Allah describes him in the Quran. وَهُوَ أَحْسَنُ الْحَاكِمِينَ أَحْكَمُ الْحَاكِمِينَ. The most wise of the wise. One of his names is Al-Hakim, the absolute wise. So wisdom demands that he would inform human beings of their purpose on this earth. Beginning with the first human beings, they would be informed why they are here. That's what wisdom demands. We accept it in our own lives, for sure. On the scale of God, who is all wise, it is beyond him. It is beneath him to have created this world and not inform people what their purpose is. So true belief in God, where one knows who one's Lord is, requires the belief that God sent messengers carrying his message to humankind, informing them of their purpose here. That is, without a doubt, absolutely necessary. Belief in God requires that we believe in him sending messengers with the message that he wanted to convey to humankind. So, in the end, we know that God's message was sent to the first human beings, referred to as Adam and Eve. That message which was sent was in fact Islam. We can say that the religion of Adam and Eve was Islam, while a Christian cannot say it was Christianity, nor can a Jew say it was Judaism, nor can a Buddhist say it was Buddhism. But we can say it was Islam, because Islam means submission to the will of God, which encompasses all of the messages which were sent by the prophets of God to humankind. Submission to the will of God. There is only one God, and he created only one race of human beings. I know people say, no, there's different races. There's the Mongoloid race, there's the Negroid race, there's the Caucasian race, and so on. No, this is nonsense. There is only one race, the human race. One. The proof of that, Allah left amongst us, where if a man from the quote-unquote Caucasian race, from the north, from Norway, whiter than white, blonde hair and blue eyes, he needs a transfusion, and his blood type is O negative. His family is O positive. Their blood can't save his life. But another man from South India, blacker than black, whose blood is O negative, can save him. So what is that saying? Who is closer to him? His own family who look like him, or that person from South India who seems to be the total opposite of him? These are the signs which Allah left amongst us to remind us that we are one human race. And as such, God revealed to that human race one religion. He did not reveal a bunch of different religions, thereby confusing human beings. No, he only revealed one religion. Human beings changed it, and he would send more prophets. And they would change it again, and he would send more prophets. But all the time, it was one message. As Allah said, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ يَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. I've sent to every nation, to every people, a messenger, calling them to worship Allah alone and to avoid the worship of false gods. One God, one human race, one religion, Islam. That is the message that I wanted to share with you tonight. Knowledge of who our Lord is takes us ultimately to knowledge of Islam. So as we need to go back and understand who our Lord is by reading the Quran, Ramadan is around the corner, and it's the month dedicated to the Quran. As Allah explained, it was the month in which the Quran was revealed. So we dedicate our time to reading the Quran, but we should read it with understanding. Read it and reflect on its meanings, not read it as a ritual, so that we fall into the category about which Allah said, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Will they not reflect on the meanings of the Quran? Or are their hearts locked up, sealed? Let us not be among those with sealed hearts in this month of Ramadan before us. Let us open our hearts to the Quran and read it with understanding and come to know who our Lord is. Because at least a third of the Quran is dedicated to explaining who is our Lord. And that is why Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Ikhlas, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. This surah, this chapter, as small as it is, the Prophet ﷺ said, one who reads it has read a third of the Quran. Because that surah is dedicated to explaining who our Lord is. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Say, He is Allah, the uniquely one. Allahu Samad, the one who depends on nothing and all depends on Him. Lam yalid, He does not give birth. Walam yulad, nor was He born. Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad, and there is nothing similar to Him. So I ask Allah to let us walk away tonight with a renewed desire to want to know Islam and to know who our Lord is and to implement that knowledge in our lives so that this nation of the Maldives can rise again and be counted among the nations of this world that have contributed to human civilization. It is with Islam that we will achieve that. Without it, we never will. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك